Hi guys, Tanya from 4Girls Jewelry with another tutorial. It's Tuesday and maybe because it's almost spring, I feel a spring in the air. Start to design a jewelry with a lot of sparkly crystals, and I want to share this design today. So I made a pendant and also matching earrings. So if you would like to see what you need for that and how to make them, pick up wires and let's start wire wrapping. So for the pendant, I draw this. So we want to make two frames. One frame will be this one, and then inside will be other frame with the ends also. And you can see, so there is two frames. When I show you how I made that, it's very easy. It just, all you have to do, the wire that you can handle it. For the pendant, I actually use thicker wire. You can use 16 gauge, 18 gauge. For earrings, I would recommend thinner because you don't want them to be very heavy. And I scale down the other frame on a piece of paper, and then I made earrings much smaller than the pendant. Let's do earrings. It's smaller, so we can just so that's the wire that I will use today. I like these pliers because that's the measure here. It's exactly same length. If you guys have those, it's from local hardware store. I know it have the teeth inside, but it's just for forming your frame. I use a lot. So that's exactly the same, the length that I needed. If you can see on the drawing, it's the same length. So then you don't have to care about if that will be perfect, because it will be perfect. So what I mean is, let's see. So we need two frames first. I will leave a little tail, like about that much. It's probably not a lot. I have the tape measure here. It's centimeters, that's in inches. So a little bit more than 1 inch probably. And you make first kick. And I will make the second kick. And this. So what we have to have, we wanted to have something. Let me cut so then you will guys know. So we wanted to have something that will be here. This. This makes sense. One. We needed, this will be frame number 1, so we need 2 of them. This will be our first element for the earrings. Make sure it's same. So we have something like that. It will be first here and then here. I don't see that's perfectly, had to be, doesn't have to be exactly like, but I see they're not. There you go. Much better. Okay, so we have that. And then the second frame is again, I leave a little tail. The second frame, we will use these pliers, also from Home Depot. So you can measure, because it's a thinner point here, but I measure where it's stable here. You can see on the pliers, it's the same, it's not going up, you know what I mean, like it's the same length here. So I will measure from these pliers. I just put it here, and that will be my measure. And then you have this little piece, using the same pliers again, kick. Looks funny, but then we will make it work. And that's wires, so they can always be flexible if you need it to. You can make it smaller, bigger. So that's what we need for the second one. Cut, because that's the one here. And we also need two of them. Let me quickly make other one. Sharp end. Here is the measure from that. And this is the second one. Here we have the second one. So we have these two also. So that's what we need. We need one shape like this and the other shape like that. Before we put everything together, we need to hammer. I would hammer only this part. It's a little bit more complicated with designs I did before, filmed before. So I hammer only that part, this part. So we have hammered. Hammered. Then we hammering at this part. Done. And one more. That's it. Done. Now we can put them together. We don't need our block anymore, and we need 24 gauge. So we'll start. I like to start from the earrings. That's the earrings. So we have those two frames here, one on top of the other. So I will put first frame these guys. That's my first one. So what I do is I leave a tail because we wanted to add beads. So a little tail, and start from one leg, one, just anchor it, put the other, and be attaching those frames together. Two together, between, it's the same weave I always use, around this one, then around the bottom wire, and two together. The first, the lower one, two together, and you probably will stop. You don't need that much for earrings. You can also continue if you wanted to. I just leave it I don't use a lot of you. Cut. Make sure you nicely tuck your wire, and we leave in that wire because we will use beads, but we want to secure the other end. Make sure they sit in nicely. You can also adjust a little bit at this point, and I will do the same thing, leaving the tail. Started from the bottom one, around once to secure, go to together, between, hug this wire, all the way to the bottom, hug the lower one, and to together, top, bottom, to together. And if you decide that it's enough, just twice, and cut your wire. So the first frame is already assembled. Make sure you just push your weave together the way you want, and we have 2 wires sticking ready for our beads. Now, second frame, we will put the frame on top of that one. I forgot my beads, so I have to go down and bring some beads. So I will use some small beads. Guys, I never work with the crystals. I always work only with the gemstones and big stones. So I even don't know what size are those, seriously. Sometimes people ask and I have no clue how to measure them, but they're pretty tiny. But you can, if you want to make design like this, you can also measure, like you can play with your beads that you have. You can just make sure it's fit in that little thing, like you can put them inside and see if they will fit. Like I knew they will fit because I will just put them around, and then I took the green bead that I have and just check if they will all fit, you know what I mean? So you can check like, oh, these guys will work, right? Because they will fit. It's like a wobbly, but you know what I mean, because this paper is from the water damaged. So you can also check if your beads will work for you. Just put that, put the little crystals and see. You can adjust, you can make that frame a little bigger if you wanted to. That's what I use, because for me it's easy. I can make a lot of those earrings in one day because I don't, I just use these. I don't make frame from the sketch. I just use pliers, both of them, same, and that's it. And it's, I show you always easy way, even if it's look complicated, it's easy. So now we have other frame that we hammered, we put on top, and we have wires sticking here. Depends where it comes from, it's come from here. So then we can put the frame here. It's better looking on in pendant than on earrings, because on earrings they sort of, you don't see the second frame. I like when it's on pendant, you can see it. So let me move them so they will not fall. And so when you start attaching, I do 2 wraps with the other frame, hold it tightly, 2 wraps, and then I will put my crystal here, tiny one. Come on. can attach to directly to this wire first and then to the frame. And we have one. Then we have other piece, and where we have our wire is sticking out. We can do two. Wait a sec, because for some reasons. Okay, two. So now we can attach this bottom one. You can do twice. 1, 2. Twice. 1 on the bottom. And I think that will be enough. So we have, use your wires that you have already. So now we have on the bottom that one that we have from stitching these together. So attach this with the frame twice. We can put our tiny crystal. Look like a little mess. And now we can attach them this side. 1, 2. Now let's care about the other side. Piece of 24 gauge. You can start attaching if you want it from the top. One, two, then bead, and make sure later to put away those little tiny tails. So we have 1, hugging together, 2, you can go on the other side right away, 2. It's just playing, stitching together. And we have one more crystal to add. And two together, attach with those 2 frames. So we basically stitched all of them, and I like to put 1 bead in the middle. So I will use my green one. And the green, and just I will attach to one on the side, stitch with that one, push it through, my grandma, when I grew up in Ukraine, she liked to do embroidery, and sometimes I feel like that's also sort of like embroidery. Also art, but it's in the wire. So just hug, try to, if you feel it's not enough, you can go with this wire around the other bead. This is my sort of messy project. So now we still have the top that we need to stitch these two. So I bring the wire up, and you can do together, up, bottom, together, together, top, bottom, and I think it's enough. This is not my typical wire wrapping, but I don't know why I today decide to make something very colorful. I think it's a spring. Okay, so all the wires that we don't need, that we can remove now from the work. Make sure you really nicely tuck your wires so they will not scratch, damaged any skin. Then if you see imperfection, you can push these wires in just gently so you will not damage the crystals. But later when they polished, it looks beautiful. It looks like it's supposed to be. Okay, so I get rid of this one too. The tail is here, out. Okay, so we have basic frame. You can push these if you want to make sure that they're sitting better together. So that's the thing we need to do. Now I make a top. I just, let's say you want to put, because it's up to you what size. I wanna one side longer, so I will, let's say, keep this wire for the longer. Here will be mine probably that much. I wonder how so these definitely are like 2/3 of the inch, these legs, so 2/3 of the inch to cut. And if you make earrings, make sure you make 2 of them, right? So that will be the same length everywhere. Also now it's a time when you can just make sure it's straight, your lines, it's not like really wobbly. You can do it even before you frame it, put together, right? So now we have those 2 tails here on the side, and I want to make on one small curl and on the bottom a little bit bigger, so I can use some jump rings there and put beads. So the top, there will be the top. If you like, you can also cut a little tail so it will be perfect, more curled. Mine looks okay, so just keep going, and it will be the top. The bottom I will use larger, a little bit further down, because I want to have this for my jump rings. I want jump rings in. Same here. So that's the bottom. And the top. Mine kind of look weird. I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. It's a handwork, so I do hammer. Make sure those little wires nice. So I did hammer these. I hammer the top and the bottom because it will be more. I don't know why it doesn't want to concentrate. Maybe because of the paper. Is it better now or no? Because I see that it's like the camera doesn't want to focus on. So I did hammer these, so it will be each time you hammer, it will be so strong. So that's what you want. You needed to tap with your hammer, like hammer here. I did also hammer both sides here, this and this. So then it's also very stable. It doesn't go anywhere. And depends what you want to do. You can make it all the way down, make this tail, like these earrings could be much longer. Or you can cut closer and make that loop closer, up to you. And then I jazz it with whatever gemstones you want. I know it's kind of weird because I use green and blue and a different shade and then brown, but I ordered a dress and I want to have something crazy colorful that can match that dress. So that's what was inspiration from a dress actually that I ordered. Guys, I hope you like this idea. So I don't want to finish this one because I will make exactly the same one. I will cut probably that much, like a ½ inch. We'll make a loop. So that will be my top earring, the top part for the earring, and then on the bottom, much lower. That's up to you. All my videos is just to inspire you, so you can create, you can create exactly the same thing. That's why I'm showing, but I thought it would be nice to just have idea what you can do, how you can play with the shapes. You can draw it on a piece of paper like I do. Sometimes I just think how I want to do, what I want to do, what shapes I want to do. Like the dress had these shapes on it, and I thought, oh my gosh, I will make something that will match. So these was actually from a fabric that I was thinking I can make something and just add the colors that is there. That will be a matching for my vacation. It will be vacation jewelry. I appreciate that you watch me. Leave a comment below what you think. I know it's a little bit complicated, and maybe Tuesday, Thursday, or some other day I will film quickly those blue earrings that I promised to film. It will be very quick. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.